Welcome to Screen Crush, I'm Ryan Arey, and this is all the Easter eggs, references, and little things you might have missed in the premiere of WandaVision. Even though Marvel dropped the first 2 episodes today, I'm going to do 2 separate Easter egg videos. So this video will have spoilers for episode 1, plus some speculation based on the trailers. The Marvel Studios title card fades to black and white as we're brought into the opening credits of a 50s era TV sitcom. WandaVision! So many of you are probably asking yourselves, what the heck is going on here? Well, in the comics, Wanda has the power to remake reality. For most of her history, she didn't realize she had this power, and she used it subconsciously. In later years, though, she used the ability more deliberately, creating an alternate reality where her father, Magneto, ruled the world. So I suspect that's what's happening here. I think she created a small pocket reality in the form of a TV show. And that's kind of perfect because what is a TV show but a small pocket reality that lives in our living rooms? And also notice the episode is in the 4:3 aspect ratio like classic sitcoms. See, I think that growing up in Sokovia, she used to watch American sitcoms, and she used these TV shows as an escape, a way to cope with her war-torn childhood.
Every effort to save us, every shift in the bricks, I think this will set it off. We wait for 2 days for Tony Stark to kill us.
This is perhaps hinted at with the ad on the calendar, where a little girl is watching TV and the caption reads, "All the little girl wants is a color television." This could be why the town is called Westview. It's how she viewed the West. So the style of this show is based on the 50s TV sitcoms such as Ozzie and Harriet or Leave It to Beaver. Wanda even wears a house dress and a necklace like June Cleaver. Most of the magical effects used in the episode are not only practical, they're done with the same wire work that we see in sitcoms like Bewitched. The opening credits directly mimic the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Starring Dick Van Dyke.
And the house seems modeled directly after the Petrie's home. The credit font is very similar. A staple of the Dick Van Dyke Show was him falling over an ottoman. Now these opening credits tease that happening. First, Vision drops Wanda outside when he phases, but then she uses her magic to help them both phase through the chair. We've actually seen her use her abilities to manipulate Vision's powers before. During their fight in Civil War, she forces him to phase. And this is a little detail, I love how the I in Vision's name looks like a little radio tower.
What do you say to silver dollar pancakes, crispy hash browns, bacon, eggs, freshly squeezed orange juice, and black coffee?
I say, oh, I don't eat food.
And this is actually a callback to their last kitchen scene in Captain America Civil War.
In my defense, I haven't actually ever eaten anything before, so...
Amazing.
When Vision enters, he compares plates to...
My wife and the flying saucers.
Perhaps a reference to the alien invasion that precipitated his death. And Wanda's remark...
My husband and his indestructible head.
...is because she had such a hard time destroying the Mind Stone in his head in Infinity War. The two of them are trying to remember the significance of August 23rd. Other than being my nephew's birthday, I'm not sure what this date means. My guess is it's the day Wanda created this reality and remade the Vision. And actually, we have a video coming out tomorrow about how Wanda brought the Vision back to life. Subscribe if you want to see that one coming. Neither of them can remember what this date means.
Well, then tell me what's so important about today's date.
Now, in the comics, each of them has frequently had their memory erased. Vision's mind was erased, his body was bleached of color, and his emotions were purged from his body, while Wanda lost all memory of her twin sons and later memory of her entire life. Wanda and Vision have had very weird backstories in the comics. Basically, as different writers came onto the books, they would often rewrite the character's origins. For instance, Wanda's had 3 different sets of parents. But it's appropriate that a character whose power is rewriting reality has had her personal reality rewritten so many times. Wanda and Vision's inability to remember is also like the story I mentioned, House of M, where almost none of the Marvel heroes are able to remember the real world. There's also a few Easter eggs in the newspaper that Vision is holding. The ad on the back says every modern American home can use a new television. Again, this world is Wanda's idealized version of a normal American life.
We are an unusual couple, you know.
Oh, I don't think that was ever in question.
There's also some hints in the trailer that she might be manipulated into creating this reality. So subtle little indications like this, saying you need a television life, might be a way of controlling her. For instance, the front page headline reads, "Little baby June's first words tickle her mother." As we saw in the trailer, Wanda does get pregnant and have twins, just like she does in the comics. This newspaper is subtly planting the idea in her head that kids are just great fun. See, I have a theory on why that happens, but I'm going to go over it in my episode 2 video because of spoilers. And there's a grocery store ad that features lobsters that she uses later in the episode. Then her nosy neighbor Agnes shows up, played by Kathryn Hahn. The trope of the annoying neighbor is in a ton of sitcoms, from Bewitched to Full House. But she seems more based on Mrs. Kravitz, the neighbor in Bewitched, who constantly tried to uncover Samantha's secret witch powers. Now, we don't have an official word on this, but I think it's likely this is actually Agatha Harkness from the comics. Agatha is an actual witch who was alive during the Salem witch trials. She was extremely powerful and taught Wanda how to use magic in conjunction with her mutant powers. She even wears a brooch and a cape, just like Agatha. When they meet, she says,
"Wanda, charm."
Basically telegraphing that
Away!
she keeps mentioning her husband Ralph.
Lucky gal. The only way Ralph would remember our anniversary is if there was a beer named June 2nd.
This is another standard sitcom trope of the off-screen spouse that you never see, like Vera on Cheers or Maris on Frasier.
Yes, Maris, I'm sure. No, you can't gain weight from a glucose IV.
Vision works at a computational company, and he doesn't really know what he does.
To tell me what it is we do here exactly.
This is for a few different reasons. For one, in most 50s sitcoms, we don't really understand where the dads go when they leave for work because the shows are centered on the home. This is also very similar to the movie Pleasantville. In that film, Tobey Maguire and Reese Witherspoon are 90s teens transported into a 50s sitcom reality. In the town of Pleasantville, people have no knowledge of anything outside their borders.
What's outside of Pleasantville?
There are some places that the road doesn't go in a circle.
What we're seeing here is that Wanda has created this reality, but there's not a lot of detail. Like, the set is sparse. The cul-de-sac doesn't have very many other houses. In the trailers, we see her slowly adding to the reality as time moves forward. But Vision is also seeing the gaps in this world.
Yes, but what is it we're producing?
As a machine, he's looking for logical answers to where he is and what he does. I'm guessing that eventually he'll help Wanda to break free from this illusion. Vision's boss, Mr. Hart, makes a few unintentional jokes about the Vision being a machine, like when he says,
"This is what I just said. What's wrong with you, son? Have you got a screw loose?"
Or later when he asks him,
"You're awfully dense, aren't you, Bill?"
a reference to the Vision's ability to change his destiny. I mean, density. And later he says,
I mean, look around. There's all this chaos going on in your house.
and this is a reference to the Scarlet Witch's power from the comics, Chaos Magic. The song playing in the office is Yakety Yak by the Coasters. Basically, it's a parent yelling at their kid to do their chores before they can.
You ain't gonna rock and roll no more. Yakety Yak.
Fans of Age of Ultron will recognize this character. That's your mom. Back at the house, Agnes is helping Wanda to prepare for her big night. And it's interesting that she brings up,
Oh, what about seduction techniques?
and she really wants these two to smash. Maybe she's the one helping to shape the reality to encourage Wanda to have twins.
This is gonna be a gas!
In the comics, Agatha Harkness provided the energy that Wanda used to create her children. But later, it was Agatha who told Wanda that she just imagined her kids into existence. And then Agatha temporarily erased all memory of her children. Like I said, Scarlet Witch has a weird origin in the comics. Now, I'm wondering if Agnes is trying to manipulate this woman into having kids. I have a theory about that, which again I'm going to cover in the next video because spoilers. And also, this magazine, Glamorous, could be a play on the word glamour, or a spell used to disguise things, just like Wanda has created a glamour of this town around the Vision. And this line,
You could point out that the death rate of single men is twice that of married men.
is referring to Vision, who died as a single man but is resurrected as a married man. The toaster ad in the middle of the episode actually has quite a few Easter eggs. It's made by Stark Industries, obviously referencing the company founded by Howard Stark. But more importantly, Tony Stark originally created Ultron and helped to create the Vision. And in a way, Stark is responsible for Wanda's origin as well.
And on the side of the shell is painted one word.
Stark.
Now, robots and AI are often called by the derogatory term toaster.
I've known the chief for years. He's no toaster.
He was involved with Lieutenant Valeri, who most certainly is a toaster.
That word is racist. I don't like it.
Sure.
But in the comic book The Visions, Wanda affectionately calls Vision toaster. This toaster oven even looks like it has a human's face. And also notice the red button on the toaster. Red is a very significant color in this show. It's the color of Wanda's costume, her red energy, the Vision's skin. It'll be interesting to see the meaning of this unfold in the next few episodes. The glowing light in the middle even calls to mind the stone in the middle of Vision's forehead. So this is basically a proto-Vision. The toaster's motto, forget the past, this is your future, is telling Wanda to forget your old life. Forget your life as an Avenger. This is the only reality you need. Now think of the roll of time in this show. Just like every TV show is finite, this show is giving us the feeling that time is running out for Wanda and the Vision. As we see at the end of the episode, they're being watched, and we know that this dream world can't go on forever. When the Harts arrive, Wanda embarrasses herself, which Vision covers up by saying Sokovian hospitality, a reference to her home country. You might have forgotten that because her accent faded significantly in every movie.
I want the big one. Spirits lifted. Well, there are people who are expecting me too, you know. We both made promises.
But here, it's been completely Americanized because she's living that ideal TV life.
Oh no, too much.
So the episode's gag is a classic sitcom miscommunication.
Oh, I think this is the episode of Three's Company where there's some kind of misunderstanding.
But eventually, her magic saves the evening. This wine translates to the House of Mapri, or, storyline I mentioned earlier, House of M. As she's preparing dinner, she moves the chicken backwards in time to turn it into an egg. This is, again, foreshadowing her children. But also, it's a way to indicate that Wanda does have the ability to tap into the power of the Time Stone. Now, in the dinner scene, the Harts pressure them about their past.
We moved from
Yes, we moved from...
And we were married.
Yes, we were married.
This is going back to what I said before about Pleasantville and 50s sitcoms. These shows did not have rich character Bibles. 50s sitcoms didn't develop characters' backstories or give us much info about their personalities apart from what they needed to do to complete every episode's story. Now, when Mr. Hart starts to choke, his wife goes through this eerie, kind of David Lynchian type glitch.
Stop it. Stop.
Now this, again, is reminiscent of the Vision's comic book. In that series, Vision has started an android family in the suburbs. When one of them is upset, they simply repeat a sentence over and over. Notice that when this happens, Wanda finally breaks character and addresses Vision directly.
Vision, help him.
And then Vision pulls a Neo to save his life. Notice that for this scene, the show stops using the old-fashioned practical effects and instead uses a modern computer visual effect to show the Vision putting his hand in his boss's body. But here's something else you might have missed. Wanda actually made him choke to begin with. Watch this scene closely.
Damn it, why? Why did you...
They're pressuring her. She looks at him, blinks, and then he starts choking. She subconsciously tried to kill him because she didn't like that his question was making her question her own reality. The episode ends with the couple framed in a hexagon. Now, I'm not 100% sure why the show uses so many hexagons. Maybe because the 6 sides represent the 6 Infinity Stones, or maybe because some old-fashioned TVs use hexagon pixels. One of the names in the show's credits is Abe Brown, the superhero Black Tiger, a character name who also appeared here in Spider-Man Homecoming. And then we see this mysterious person monitoring the show. Notice that now we're in the 16:9 aspect ratio, indicating that this is taking place in the real world. The big clue is this symbol. That's the logo of the government agency S.W.O.R.D. In the comics, S.W.O.R.D. is like the space version of S.H.I.E.L.D., protecting the Earth from alien invasions. The comic acronym for S.W.O.R.D. is Sentient World Observation and Response Department. But in the MCU, it actually stands for Sentient Weapon Observation and Response Department. That's an important distinction. World implies that they guard Earth from aliens. Sentient weapons sounds like they protect Earth from superpowered individuals, maybe like mutants. Or maybe this agency is meant to protect Earth from AI like Ultron or the Vision. And finally, the end credits are made of red, green, and blue dots. CTV pixels are composed of the primary colors of light, red, green, and blue. Every TV image is actually composed of these 3 colors. Well guys, that's all the Easter eggs I found, but if you found any, let me know in the comments below or at me on Twitter. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. For Screen Crush, I'm Ryan Arey.